$2 billion or 16,000 crores. That's how much live video commerce is driving revenue today. And that's what we're going to talk about. Today, there are brands across the board. There are brands like Myntra, FirstCry, and many others that are trying to leverage the entire live video space to drive eyeballs, to drive revenue, and to drive more engagement with users that they're really going after. And when you think about live video commerce, there are three pieces that come to mind. The first is content, the second is really the technology, and the third is creators. If you look at the content piece, it's really about figuring out what kind of content is going to work for the users. What kind of content format? Is it going to be reviews? Is it going to be explaining the product? Is it going to be trends that you want to talk about? And really figuring out the content calendar and content periodicity is going to be very important to figure out in this entire space. The second is the technology, and there are multiple tools out there. There's Firework that was recently funded by SoftBank. There's Deg Peg. There are multiple Shopify plugins that allow you to do this. So you need to figure out how are you going to really do this and which technology can help you do this so that you can also stream it not just on your website, but also possibly onto YouTube and Instagram and other channels as well. And the third and last is really the creators, right? You need someone to be the face of this. You need someone to actually do the actual live video. And often brands are using creators for this, where they actually come in and create that content, and creators can be a great way to do that. You could also build an in-house team to make this happen. But that is going to be the third pillar of entire live video commerce. So tell me if you're going to try it out. I think we are quite excited of how live video commerce can actually drive revenue for you. Do leave your comments and tell us how you're going to try it out. I've been in the marketing and digital space for over 15 years now, but every single day I still continue to learn and often unlearn and relearn as well. So be it any field you may be in creative, you may be in media, you may be in social, we have lots that you can learn from. So come join us at Social Beat and learn from the experts. In the digital space, the one thing that's been spoken about a lot over the last 1 year, but probably the least understood, is Metaverse. And when Facebook changed its name to Meta last year, there's a lot of buzz around it, and that buzz continues. So we thought today we'll demystify what does Metaverse really mean for marketers, especially in the Indian context. So the first thing that comes to mind when you think about the Metaverse is what is the Metaverse, right? And the way we know it today is that it's essentially a virtual reality. It's a virtual world created where you can actually get to interact with others. You can actually get to listen, speak, and also purchase things, dress yourself up. It's a virtual world. And the next question really is, how do you experience this Metaverse, right? And you do need a virtual reality device to actually experience it, similar to the one I have in my hand here, which is the Oculus device that was created by Meta. And it's been around for many years, and this is the Oculus 2. But you do need a device like this to really have an immersive experience to really show you what the Metaverse looks like. And of course, there are many other cheaper devices in the market too. But if you really want to experience it, then you do need an expensive device like this to make that happen. So the next question is, what can marketers do today to actually start preparing for the onset of the Metaverse? And the hard reality there is that very few Indians actually have a VR device like the Oculus we showed you. There are millions of VR devices sold across the world, but the Indian volume of that is very, very small even now. So the question is, what can you do and what kind of experiences can you create with that context in mind? So the first thing we actually recommend marketers and advertisers today is, can you start experimenting with augmented reality, which is not necessarily requiring you to have a VR device, and you can actually experience augmented reality on your own existing devices, on your mobile phone, on your laptops. And you're already seeing some examples of that where you can do a virtual try-on, or you can actually try out an apparel on the website. And those kind of virtual reality experiences or augmented reality experiences are actually starting steps towards a Metaverse. The second thing we're actually recommending advertisers is, look at what are some of the alternatives which can be there. For example, there are virtual influencers today which exist around the world and also in India. Kyra is the first one in India, but there are many more that will come up which are essentially virtual creators that don't exist in reality but exist only in the Metaverse or on the digital universe. And those could be again great ways to take steps towards being part of the Metaverse. The third is, there are brands also looking at an adjacent space, which is NFTs or non-fungible tokens, and seeing if you can actually create NFTs from a brand's perspective, from an organization's perspective, that can be relevant to your users. And that could also be a great way to move towards this direction. If you really want to take a massive step towards Metaverse, then it requires you to have a team that can look at multiple areas. A team that can actually build the Metaverse, which requires game developers and technology and various other things. You also need audiences that have the VR devices. So you could potentially create experiences where you bring users to a space where you give them the VR device. So we are looking at brands that can actually take steps forward in both these fronts. But that's something we'd love to hear from you. How are you going to try out? What are the steps you are taking to be part of the Metaverse?
Hey guys!
We're the team behind Digital Bytes. We hope you found these videos informative.
If you have any suggestions or topics that you want us to cover,
Please comment below.
Don't forget to hit subscribe.
thank you.